Welcome back, travellers, to the Lucky Die in Kino. Previously, Arawn passes some notes, Ivoris sees a looming storm, and Greff meets a shifty loan shark. After swapping information about the Assembly, the Orcs, and the Initiative, Kino Initiative Task Force 10 and Adlanov are now working both sides of the fence in an attempt to figure out who to fight for. A lucky break sees them travelling to Freedom's Bluff in pursuit of a missing alchemy stone and the Assembly. Why was the alchemy stone stolen? How far into the future is Ivoris's visions? And what challenges will the team face here in Freedom's Bluff? I guess we're about to find out. Welcome back to the Lucky Die in Kino. Guys are essentially on top of a series of cliffs overlooking the sea, which is to your back. You are looking forward over the equivalent of essentially like a shanty town type place. So lots of things are built out of wood. It's not as well built, not as well maintained as you are used to in Shilvana. You can see that there is a clock tower. I'm going to make sure I have this written down correctly before I come up with some utter shite. Yes, off to one distance you see like a bell tower, a clock tower of one of the temples. The temples are fairly well made and they're off to one side, but most of this town is large, sprawling, a big sprawling mess. You can hear lots of people, even at this late in the, sort of like towards this end of the day. Straight ahead of you down a path, sort of down the hill a little bit, you can see that there is a well. That's what you guys came into. You can take a perception check for any like more details from where you are, if you want. If not, just wander in there and see what happens.
I am curious about the things around me, so I will do the perceptions.
Okay, perceptions.
15.
A 15. It's quite a large town. You can see that around the edge there is a fairly tall wall, and you can see that there are humanoid figures up there. You can't really see much more than that. You can see lots of people meandering around, especially down by the well, which seems to be like a meeting place, like women will wash their clothing and, you know, people will sell their wares, that sort of thing. Can I give you anything really much better from where you are? Nah, not really from where you are. Not much from where you are. Yeah. Oh, the one thing you would notice that the humanoids who are standing on top of the wall, those humanoid figures, you can't see them very clearly. You do notice that they're not moving, and for a moment you might have mistaken them as like castellations, but they're clearly not castellations. It's not a castle wall. You just notice those. There you go.
Gotcha.
Probably about all I can give you.
As Greff is talking over by the window, I think he was by the window when he suddenly remembered the fighting school. Ivoris leans over to Arawn. Are we going to be keeping the fact that we're looking for your friend from Greff?
I think it might be a better bet. I'd rather not have him blabbing.
I think I see the school from here.
How do you plan on, doing all that without him?
Can you refresh my memory? Who are you looking for here?
Indrak.
Okay, all right.
Because last time Arawn had told Ivoris that he needed help trying to find Indrak because he didn't believe that Indrak was really dead.
Yeah. Greff does know that Indrak is supposedly dead. There's a heads up. Okay.
Well, between, I guess, between now and the end of this trip, if we don't come across anything, naturally, we can, figure it out at that point.
That's fair. If it comes down to it, I mean, we can always see if Greff can ask one of his shady buddies or something, I guess, but I'd rather not resort to that sort of thing if we can avoid it.
Sure. Just wondering how you plan on looking for this person while we're here. If
Greff
we have
is standing right
someone
there,
else
guys.
tied.
No, we're being very quiet and we're a little ways away.
Also, Greff's like, no, that wasn't the school. I think that's a well or something. So Greff's just doing his thing.
Oh my god.
All right, Greff, come on over here.
You guys are the worst.
What? What are we talking about?
We're trying to figure out our next move here.
Right.
Oh, well, it clearly should be that to find a place to sleep in. While we're on the way over there, we should probably look at the people that are here, their mannerisms and such, and try to make a plan from that to try to find out where Kania is.
Did somebody hit you in the head?
No, I've just been listening to Ivoris when he talks. It's not fun,
okay,
but it's useful.
Well, I suppose it's better you learn to speak like him than you do me.
No, I would love to get a place where we can just leave all the extra carpets we always bring with us. And from there we can take things slowly.
Is that place that I had the vision of Millhook? Is that a place that has rooms?
I don't think you would have picked that up from your vision.
Okay, because I think you said it was a tavern sort of place, right?
Yeah, it was kind of it was a bar behind a waterfall.
Right. Yeah.
Did you tell us about that?
It somehow came up.
Yeah.
Okay. Perhaps two birds, one stone sort of thing. We can inquire about an inn behind a waterfall. See if we can work something like that out.
If you think that she has that information or any information, then sure.
Well, I mean, either way, you want to get back at this person, right? And we need a place to stay regardless.
Couldn't hurt.
And I feel like someone like that probably is in the know about things in this area.
Depends on how deep in hiding she is and how far up the chain.
We think that Amira is here. So we can't go looking around basically saying we're looking for a white tabaxi and a black tabaxi. And any of those two could lead us to Amira or your, I was going to say friend, but I don't think that goes well. And yeah, if we can get in contact with Amira, she's getting into a contact with somebody who either lived here or works here or something. That might help us get some contacts within the city.
Sure. Well, I only know where to find one of those people. And when we find her, we can probably find your friend again.
Oops, sorry.
No, you go ahead.
While we're having this conversation, Arawn wants to just look around and see if there's anybody that's taken notice or particular interest of us as we're talking.
Yeah, it's fairly obvious to spot. You can see a couple of people who are nearish, the houses that are fairly close to this kind of rundown temple area that you guys find yourself in. They're kind of looking over and glancing at you, and you can see them chatting. There's a couple of tabaxi meandering around. They seem to their general adornment seem to be things like bones and hides and stuff, and they're kind of looking over you and having their conversations and just they're throwing a glance, but at a casual looking over to see if someone's looking at you. They're just looking your way and then continuing about their business.
Arawn's gonna as they're looking at us, look each one back in the eye and see who breaks eye contact and who maintains it.
Who can we have you meet while we're here? Okay. You see like a fairly short-looking tabaxi. He's wearing long, dark purple trousers, short red shirt that's kind of tight, top button's undone, wearing a really long coat, like the one that have the tails on the end, like, you know, an old styly, like, I'm gonna be in a dance troupe, da 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 da, and breaking out dancing, like that kind of like tail and coat. He's talking to a turtle who looks your direction and then just immediately like looks away. But the man wearing purple with the red shirt just keeps looking over at you. Just nods his head at you occasionally and continues talking to his companion.
All right. Arawn turns back to Ivoris and Greff, and it seems that we're drawing a bit of attention. The two over there, the one younger one, seems to have particular interest in us. Gave a nod in my direction when I didn't break eye contact.
Well, we should keep moving and keep a lookout for them. If we see them conveniently around, we'll have a chat at that point. Let's go.
Okay, lead the way.
I go to
Where
where
are
I
you
know
leading the way to?
this tavern is.
Okay, you guys head down towards the town. Like walking through this shanty town, most of these places are very small, like little shops, or they're mostly homes, a couple of families to each sort of thing. As you make your way down to the inn, down to the well, you can see that there is probably the nicest looking building that isn't made of stone ahead of you. It's a single floor. It seems to be like a very big building. There is a half-orc standing outside who just seems to be nodding his head at anyone who comes past. He's sitting in like what looks like a rocking chair. He's got a great axe sitting on his legs, and he's just like rocking backwards and forwards, like nodding at people as they pass, reaching down to grab a beer, chew a piece of jerky, that sort of thing.
Okay, as we pass him, Ivoris is going to keep his fucking tongue inside his mouth.
A good plan.
I just want to pass with no interaction.
Okay.
Don't want to raise
Let's,
any
What?
more.
Any suspicion?
Can you just give me a brief description of that again? I want to. One more time?
He's a half-orc
Okay.
who is sitting on a rocking chair.
Uh-huh.
He has a great axe sitting on his lap.
Uh-huh.
He's drinking beer
Uh-huh.
and chewing jerky.
Okay. As you were. Just.
What?
No, just. If Neil took interest in that confused me.
Did I take interest in that? I just want Ivoris to enter anonymously. He has to like smell with his tongue, so it usually kind of like is doing shit like snakes' tongues. So like keeping it in his mouth is something that I have to specify every now and then when I want him to kind of go incognito,
blend in,
which I cannot do to other tabaxis because they know that my fur pattern is morphed.
Yeah.
You're a snake.
But dumb half-orc will not probably notice that, but would rather notice my fucking tongue.
So he is the smartest orc in all of existence, half-orc. Yeah, you, unless you guys are going to interact with him, he seems to look up, stare each of you in the eyes a little bit, and go back to drinking his beer. He doesn't seem to be taking much attention. So I will leave that sentence hanging in the air. When you guys get inside the tavern, you can see that it's this is definitely a step up from the leaky bucket. The tables and chairs are whole. There are clean rushes on the floor. There's a couple of crackling fires. One more of an open fire towards the back of this very, very large inn room that you're in. There's a couple of very big supporting pillars, and there are like little bars, bars and stools like around those big pillars, like a little central sitting place. And at the very far end, near this cooking fire, there is a bar. There are many casks up on the wall. It looks like they also go down behind the bar. And working the bar, there is a...
Uh-huh.
There is a gnome.
Does the gnome happen to be a ritualist with a burn scar on his left side of his face?
No, this gnome is a male, so that most likely rules out who you're looking for. They just happen to be sitting at the bar having a drink. No, they're in hiding, Greff. There's a male gnome. He's got greyish hair. He's got a little bit of a twirly moustache on the go, and he's wearing dark brown clothing. He seems to be like running up and down behind the bar. He clearly has a little raise up, so he's about the same level as the patrons. And he's just running backwards and forwards and serving everyone who comes up to him. The bar isn't massively full at the moment. Probably about a third full.
I go to the most isolated part of the bar where we will be acknowledged.
Okay, yeah, you could easily stroll up to the bar. There's a couple of barflies sitting here, just like drinking their whiles away. There's a fairly short-looking drow who's just unhappily leaning over his pint, just like drinking, and looks very sad. But you can get to the bar; it's not a problem. What are you other two doing?
I'm sticking next to Ivoris.
Same here.
Okay.
Arawn has learned he is not as good in these social situations. Words.
Yes. The gnome comes up to you. He says, "So, what can I get you to drink?"
Iris is going to keep his tongue in his mouth, which makes me have to think about my S syllables more. Damn
Do I notice the trepidation in Ivoris?
No, you know that he does this, and you know that he's a lot better than Neil is. Like,
okay,
he has a really good charisma, and he's had this for a long time. Neil's just incompetent and probably will say S sounds, anyways.
No, you're fine.
No, we love you, Neil. You're not incompetent.
I'll just re-record it.
You'll get it in post.
I'll get it. I'll get it in post. Hello. I almost already did it.
God damn it, Neil.
I'm looking for a old friend of mine, a white cat of the god that died. You
Let me think now.
anyone around here lately?
We get a fair few tabaxi wandering around, yeah? Can't say I know if any of them worship gods or nothing.
Do you have a room available?
Yeah, we've got a couple of rooms through the back here, which we can rent out to you if you'd be looking for 3 of you. Takes note of your companions.
Right, wonderful.
No problem. It's a shared room, so, I'm not charging a whole lot, but he kind of like gestures to the very wide open areas, like as open as it comes here, so... All right, just be the 3 of you. That'll be 6 silver.
I hand him a gold and tell him to keep it.
Oh, pleasure to you. I'll tell you what, I'll get you a beer. What can I get you?
Ivoris raises his hand to pass and looks up at Greff.
The biggest, strongest one you can get for the rest of that money.
And what about you, my tiefling friend?
I'll have some whiskey if you have.
We've got Firebolt whiskey if you want some.
That sounds wonderful.
As I quickly write down Firebolt whiskey. Sure. He goes off. He comes back with a fairly large mug of fairly purish water, you think. He comes up with a very big mug of ale. The kind of froth is going over the top around of his hands. And he's carrying a fairly small, as see-through glass as you could probably get in this place, filled with a kind of amberish nectar. You guys have your drinks. The Firebolt tastes spicy. It's very spicy.
Well, as we learned, through Casey, we love you, Casey. Tieflings
Casey.
obviously have resistance to burning alcohol.
Yeah. So yes,
Throwback.
It's throwback. Yeah. So it's a very spicy whiskey. It's nice. It burns on the way down. It will probably burn a bit later too. The ale is good, and the water tastes clean and pure.
Ivoris, it burns when they pee. Help.
Please, lay on hands.
No, wait. No. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Very bad connotations there. Hold on. Wait a minute.
Let's get this party started.
Gross. I apologize.
Sorry.
I feel fun. I don't apologize for anything.
Oh, no.
So yeah, you guys are still at the bar. You have your drinks, so you can do as you wish. Yeah. Is there anything you guys want to look out? Anything you want to ask anyone? The barkeeper seems to be keeping an eye on you. It's fairly obvious. You probably tell from his face that you aren't regular. So he just keeps shooting you a glance of like, are they going to kick something off? Because some of them are real big. One of them looks real angry with a really big metal thing on his arm. Yeah, so he keeps shooting you furtive glances. So
I look angry?
Don't you have a furrowed brow? Like ridged brow?
Yeah,
you
I'm
have,
a feral tiefling.
Yeah, that gives you like a permanent scowl.
Only a little bit, all right? I mean, listen, feral winged tieflings are a very uncommon thing in Kino, I will admit that, but okay.
they are, yes.
All right.
I think that's his backstory that gives him the permanent skull.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But also, fuck you.
Greff relatively quickly finishes out his muck and kind of lifts it up and gets another drink. And when the barkeep brings over the second one, he just kind of leans over the glass like, sorry to bother you again. I have a quick question.
Sure, what can I help you with? I feel like I should probably put up some sort of notice board in here, like listing all the current events and putting up details of things people want done. I feel like a quest giver.
I'm sorry, what?
A quest giver or a rumor merchant, one of the two. I just want to serve beer. Anyway, what can I help you with?
I heard stories about a sword fighting school that used to be here many years ago. You wouldn't happen to know any of those rumors? As a local, I would expect those.
I wouldn't have expected an outsider to have heard of this sort of thing. As I open up my Patreon name list.
I like this guy. He comes in and I'm like, I want to know more about your town. And he's like, fuck off and just buy more beer, you fuck.
But also, here's the information. But only because you're buying things.
Your Patreon name list? Thirsty's never going to irritate me because, his long names, that he's not what irritates me about his long names. What irritates me is that you will get those names more correct than you will get the name Mochi. Mochi.
Miauchi!
No,
that's clearly Mauchi.
Not even Miauchi.
Mochi?
Fine. Fuck you then, Neil.
You found the just wildest way that you could have said it.
You added letters. You added
so many things.
All right. Yeah, there's a surprised an outsider would know about it. It's a very old school here called Moki Fighting School.
No, V, you've already used it. You can't do it.
Man. Miauchi. You have put so much money into this podcast. I think you could probably add at least one name.
I'll just fix the whole other one.
No, you can't. It's too late now. They were a monk of some sort a couple of 1,000 years ago, so it goes.
1,000? Oh,
Yeah.
that's older than I heard.
Ended a couple of 100 years ago within my lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was just one of those things. People stopped turning up to it, so people stopped learning and people stopped being masters to teach there. At least that's the rumours I've heard.
You wouldn't remember where it used to be. I mean, it's a long time ago. I wouldn't expect you to remember that exactly.
Take a persuasion check.
No, not persuasion, you bastard.
Argue something then, but I'd say persuasion.
No.
performance.
No, my persuasion, performance, it's all the same garbage.
Survival.
Can I have
Medicine. Let's list all the useless ones.
Can I have, when I was paying for my drink earlier, made it kind of obvious that my pouch is brimming with gold. I actually have 20 gold in my pocket. Which,
Okay.
Can I argue that that might let him be more friendly towards me, get me an advantage, but I'll have to pay?
Greff's gonna pop some tags. Only got 20 gold in his pocket.
Okay, all right, I will allow that, but yes, you will have to pay for the information.
Yeah, I agree to that. All right.
So you're sliding how much on the table for him?
I'm sliding
As
nothing.
he kind of looks at you like, really, I'm just trying to serve beer. He gives you that look.
Let's say Greff just puts his pouch on the table as he says, I wouldn't expect you to know exactly where it is. Expecting him to go maybe for a gold or two, my member. Him saying the
You're goading.
Yeah, I'm goading him into asking for money.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Take a persuasion check then.
With an advantage.
Yeah.
16. Oh.
Well, it was a very long time ago. And I was but a wee child. And he sits down and just reaches out and takes a couple of gold out of the bag.
Sure.
But I vaguely remember that there was a place. I was only a youngster, you have to understand. I'd never been there myself. But there was a place in the cliffs much further down.
Right. And you said there were
Now, the rumours were that you could enter this place through, and he points over in the rough direction of where you saw the cathedral type thing with the bell tower. It's the rumours were that you could get into it through the cathedral, but they're just rumours, mind.
Of course. Now, I'm not gonna go around bothering innocent people with my fancies of fighting. So please, bring me another drink if you could. And I slide him an extra gold across the table.
I see. Nothing. I've got a very forgetful memory in my old age as he takes the gold and another one out of your sack. So he's taking 5 gold.
Son of a bitch. All right.
But he does come back with another round. So
yeah. And I'm gonna say I paid what, 1 silver for the original drink or whatever.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just
Moki.
Yeah. Oh, Moki, not Moki.
Meowchi.
Shh.
Alright, it's Moki.
I even wrote you the phonetics for a 5-letter word.
Greff kind of just leans back with his mug and he has kind of a smug smile on his face, all right, my day just got a lot better.
You find what you were looking for.
Not all of it, but if we happen to chance by the cathedral, I would very much appreciate some help trying to figure out a secret entrance into an old fighting school.
Of course.
I mean,
of course.
If nothing else, I might find some interesting information or relics from them.
I agree with that. Imagine what kind of ancient secrets might lie there.
See?
Or perhaps magic items. Things I could
2 on
use.
board, 1 against. Who says we just don't go to the cathedral right now?
The two of you can't just be simple.
Well, hold on a sec. I don't know that we should move so quickly.
Greff railroading this fucking group.
I'm going to ask a question.
Of course.
In my vision, I could see outside through the waterfall thing. What time of day was it? Versus what time of day it is now?
I don't think I specified, but let's go for late in the day.
Okay. And what
Like
time is it?
sunset?
Probably before.
Okay.
It's not high noon and it's not sun's coming up, but it's definitely not sun is right down right now. It's getting there. You've passed it at this point where you are now.
Oh, we've passed that point. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's nighttime.
It's almost nighttime, yeah.
Okay. Well, we should avoid getting into trouble on our first night here. But, I don't really know where to begin until tomorrow. So unless either of you are tired, I guess we have free time.
Perhaps so.
You know what? I'm gonna go cozy up with the locals. See you guys in the morning. Greff just gets up with his beer and walks towards the barkeep, and I'll do my shenanigans when they know what they're doing.
Okay, I guess we're not going to sword school.
Either that or he's just going to try to go find it himself.
Wait, were you suggesting going to the sword school now?
I was suggesting that we have a free night after you suggested we go to the sword school. And then you were like, I'm going to go hang out.
No, I fucking misunderstood. I misunderstood. Jesus, no. That Greff does not get up. Greff gets excited. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
Maybe
Ivoris
you just
was
like,
saying,
Greff,
Rewind.
Greff, come back.
Yeah. Okay, cut all of that. Greff just kind of leans in, interested at the proposition.
all right, well, I don't want to be out all night, so let's try not to cause any trouble at all. None of it. On our first day here on a job that we have not even started.
I agree. You guys are doing me a big favor here, so I promise to stay cool. No looking for fights where there are none to be found.
Good plan.
All right, let's go.
I think Greff kind of wants to lead. Like, Greff is the first to stand up. Greff is the first to exit. Kind of thing.
Sure.
You guys are heading to the cathedral?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Skipping 5 pages of planned content.
Well, no, I should have prepared. No, I'm joking.
We've either just fallen for a trap or did something we weren't supposed to do.
You've activated my trap card.
I can't figure out which one it is.
The trap card is, oh shit, you've surprised me. Now I'm just throwing stuff at you that I don't have stats for. No, I'm joking.
I feel like that's every session.
I feel like you guys do this to me all the time. No. You guys make your way across to the cathedral. It takes up about 10-15 minutes from where you are. Again, the kind of half walk outside just takes note the fact that you guys are gone and then continues drinking. As you guys make your way through like the shantytown area more towards where the cathedral is itself, you pass a lot of people wearing things like furs and bones and this kind of good stuff. As you kind of make your way more towards like the edge, you can see the wall a bit more clearer now. And Arawn, you can spot that the humanoids standing up on top of the walls are not humanoid things. Should rephrase it. They are not what you would consider like normal humanoid creatures of this area. There aren't any tabaxi or turtles. There aren't any like Goliaths or half-orcs or any of this jazz. You notice there's something odd about them. They seem to be like structures that have been like draped over with cloth. You can see that there are like kind of bonish colors about them, like the bits that you can see that aren't on the cloth, the bits that are exposed. They do seem to be carrying weapons, but they're kind of like a mishmash of weapons. And from this distance, you can't really make out any facial features or anything like that. You can just tell there's something very wrong about them.
How far away are they?
They're probably up on the walls. They're probably 3 Arawn high. No, who's tallest? 3 Greff high.
No, actually, he's taller than me.
Okay, they're 3 Ivoris high.
Him.
Yeah, they're 3 Ivoris high. Like, and then they're on top of that wall.
I would have thought Greff would have been the tallest.
You're
Goliath.
a bit tall.
He's short for you're a Goliath, right?
Yeah, I'm a tiny fucking Goliath.
Yeah, he's short for a Goliath.
How tall are you?
6'5".
That's still pretty tall.
Oh yeah, but Tabaxi are all
It's tall
crazy
for a
tall.
human, but like short for a Goliath.
Oh, that's fair.
And short
okay.
for Tabaxi.
As we're walking by, then Arawn, taking notice of these things, is going to be like, hang on 1 second, guys. I want to go check something out real quick. My curiosity is getting the better of me.
Greff takes the moment to light a torch since the sun's setting.
It's fairly well lit here. A lot of people have fires going or torches or little tiki torches, that kind of thing.
Really? Okay.
A lot of people are spending a lot of time, like women, children and men, they're all just like hanging around this fire and talking. You can hear them like singing and dancing around some of them off in the distance. There is a fair bit of light here.
Okay.
All things considered. Yeah.
All
right. You're making your way up to the wall?
Yeah, I'm just going to I imagine like it takes like just 2 beats of his wings before he's up on the wall.
Yeah, as you kind of like fly up, like the people that have noticed you, they kind of like give like an audible cheer, and you start hearing like the pounding of drums, but the sound like quickly dissipates. It's the first time you guys have experienced that. All right. Okay. Up on the wall, you are presented with what looks like a skeletal structure. It is made from bones, but it's also made from metal. It's also made from rocks or woods. You can see now you're much closer that the cloth is covering over these to hide the fact that it's just a construction. Each of them are holding weapons, but these weapons are sharp. Just looking at them, these are meant for action. Variety of weapons from like halberds to like swords and bows and arrows, all this good jazz. Like the whole range is here. And as you kind of like look up and down a little bit, out the corner of your eye, you kind of notice that one of them is kind of faintly glowing in the chest.
Arawn's just kind of like perching on one of the crenellations looking at them.
Yeah.
And he just, hello?
There's no response.
Kind of tilts his head to the side. Are you awake? Are you a person? Hello?
Again, there's no response. A lot of them have like the kind of mask effects on their face. So like either the top half of their face will be a single piece of mask, or it's an entire like carved wooden mask or metal mask in some cases.
He's going to approach the one with the glow in the chest. Yep. Keeping like a somewhat respectable distance, but close enough that he can get like a full look at it.
Mm-hmm. The one that you approach has a metal mask. It's full cast. You can see that there are gems in the place of socket, in place of the eyes. It is holding a greatsword. It is standing to attention. It is standing like it is constructed of pieces of metal and bone. You don't see any wood on this one at all. At its side, you can see that there is a similarly created kind of like hound creature, like a dog. And again, it's similarly constructed. And again, it is covered over with a piece of cloth just to kind of blend it in a little bit to less reveal its structure underneath.
Arawn's going to like step up to the humanoid figure one. Mm-hmm. And just kind of run a hand down it, just feeling the material and seeing like how it's held together, essentially.
The cloth is literally just draped on it. It's just kind of like a very thick weave, a bit like a Hessian sack, I guess. As you kind of look at it, the joints and such like, some of them are clearly mechanically made, like hinges or ball sockets. Some of them, you're like 99% sure they're together with magic.
Arawn's gonna just put a finger to his earpiece and just say, I found something interesting up here. I'm gonna take some quick notes. Give me like 20 minutes. Make it 30.
Quick notes.
Meet us at the cathedral?
I guess, sure.
Which reminds me, do any of us know what a ritual is this?
I would assume so. It's magic-y shit.
What's magic-y shit?
Basically, while Greff and Ivoris are walking, I guess Greff kind of just absentmindedly goes like, do we know what a ritualist is?
A magician of sorts. I mean, rituals come in many forms. Just as magic does.
No, I'm more wondering if we could kind of prepare ourselves, or at least know what to expect when we meet this person, since there's on almost double our fee money if we catch the person.
If I know anything about rituals, it's that they take an hour to cast. So whoever we fight is going to be very slow.
Okay.
V, I don't think this is real. This isn't what ritualist means, is it?
You
Can you roll?
Would Ivoris know what this is?
You could roll Arcana if you guys want.
Arcana. Okay.
Are you proficient in it, or?
Yes.
I rolled a 10, so.
You think it's someone who casts magic?
Yeah. Cast a very long, hour-long magic rituals. They're not going to be no threat at
10
all.
minutes.
It's 10. Yeah, it's 10 minutes.
Whatever. I don't know how to play this game.
You have a ritual.
Do I? Which one?
Please don't confuse me anymore. Please don't. I guess I'll go to Arawn.
So
What are you doing up here?
I'm going to ritual cast Identify on this thing.
Okay. With Identify, you realize that this is the... are you just doing the humanoid rather than the hound-looking thing?
I'm going to do the humanoid first, and then depending on what I get from it, I might move on to the beast. The doggo. Mecha dog.
Yeah, Mecha dog. The humanoid is a clockwork watchman. It has been created through a mixture of magic and alchemy.
Oh.
Which is the glow in the chest. It is activated much like you would activate various spells by using words. This one activates to threat. So basically anyone yelling up threat and it will activate. It is resistant to most types of magic, which meta-wise says it has advantage on saving throws against spells.
Yep.
You know that it cannot be, its form cannot be changed by magic. So polymorph will not work on this, that kind of shit.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Then Arawn's going to take another 10 minutes to do it on the dog, and then he's going to spend the last 30 minutes essentially writing a whole bunch of notes and diagrams onto his into his notebook.
Okay, you find that the animal thing is a clockwork hound. It is created between a mixture of a magical spell and alchemy, hence the glow somewhere roughly in its chest. Now that you become more aware of it, you can see it. As you kind of look across, you see that all of them have glows in various random different places. Some of them look way more butch than the others, some look more armored than the others, some look way more magically powerful. None of them are the same, they're all unique creations. This particular clockwork hound is much like the clockwork watchman. It is immune to any spell that would change its effect. It is resistant to magical things, so saving throws advantage, yada, yada, yada. This particular one has an additional magical effect on it where it is more easily able to track creatures.
Oh.
If you're spending more time identifying the dog, you realize that the kind of thing in its chest is glowing much, much brighter, has much more powerful magical aura than the magical glow that's coming from the Watchman. There you go.
Do I get the sense that if I tried to dismantle this thing that it would probably awake and attack me?
Yes.
Fuck.
Not leaving a shadow of a doubt here.
Okay.
You can try.
No. That's fine.
Please.
All right. So then
have all of these things standing up there killing you.
Oh, God.
You're kind of like focusing more on robot. You should be focusing more like constructed out of like random pieces of like things that are available. Like
no, I get what you're saying.
Bone and yeah.
This is like how Warforged technically are made. Like the same concept. It's like a mixture of organic and inorganic material.
Yeah, kind of, but way less official looking and nice and smoother looking. This is more like someone got like
patchwork.
Built like like my first sandcastle made out of like rocks and mud and twigs and like a bit of cloth and some plastic holding it up. Like it's real thrown together.
Okay. All right. So yeah, Arawn's gonna spend another 10 minutes drawing diagrams and taking notes.
Okay, then that's you for 30-ish minutes.
And then after that, he'll catch up to the others.
Okay. Fair warning, they may not be there by the time you get there.
Okay.
Just as a heads up. Like, I know you guys are in contact, but just as a heads up, they may not be there when you go for them.
At the 30-minute mark, he'll like sound off being like, all right, I'm done. Where the fuck are you guys?
Okay, that's fine. All right. You guys make your way towards the cathedral. Are you looking out at anything? Are you just making your way directly there?
I think Greff is kind of one-tracked mind really hard right now.
I'm gonna do the thing I said that we should do earlier and keep an eye out for those people that were looking at us.
Oh, the turtle and the humanoid person with the purple stuff.
Right. Other than keeping an eye out for Millhook or the
Take a perception check.
The Goliath, the other Goliath, the one we're looking.
Yeah, the Goliath. That is
Yeah.
the bodyguard. Yeah. Take a perception check.
17.
Funny enough, you're fairly certain, looking around at these hundreds of people, that you don't spot any of those. You do see like, oh crap, there's a white tabaxi, but as you kind of like steer Greff away, like it's clearly not them. Like they're missing an ear and they're only wearing a loincloth and they're kind of like dancing around a fire. Like there's real, no real, like it's definitely not them. So yeah, you get a spook sighting, but not a real one.
What a wild thing for me to imagine Millhook doing. Dancing around a fire in a loincloth.
You just see like, there's a white ear, quick, go towards it, head towards it, and like the crowd part around it, you realize there's just like this single white tabaxi that's dancing around a fire and everyone is like applauding and cheering around them. You guys feel the surge of magic whenever you get to any of these places where people are separating. Okay, you guys make your way almost straight to the cathedral. It takes about 10 minutes or so to get there on foot. It's a fair distance out. As you approach the cathedral, you can see the huge clock, huge bell tower at one end. The bells aren't ringing currently. The sun is properly beginning to set now, so the skies turn that orangey, pinky, reddish color that it quite often goes. The clouds especially. And you see this person throw open the doors to the front of the cathedral, and you see this drow figure. They have a very thin figure and wide hips, fairly flat chest, and their fur on their head has been like slicked back. The hair on their head has been slicked back. They are clearly some sort of cleric. They're holding what looks like a club with a skull on top of it. This skull is clearly magic, as it is kind of floating half an inch off the top of the stick. It has red gems in the eyes. And they're just wearing like a very simple loincloth and a very simple shirt. But they are being given respect by everyone who is following them. And then you see them lifting this club into the air and chanting and shouting something into the sky, asking for hope and life to come and fill their congregation. And the congregation just passes around them and sort of like lets them be. And they're standing there as you guys either approach where the crowd is around them, or you can just meander into the cathedral, or you can speak to the cleric. It's entirely up to you.
He's like actively doing something right now.
Yeah, he's like actively like calling from the sky, and like now that he has done this, at the end of his sermon has come to the end, he's just like shaking people's hands and smiling and nodding. This drow person has a skull mask on, but it's the one that like gets rid of like the bottom jaw, so it's just like the top half up.
Greff wants to shake his hand, but not disturb him any further than that.
The drow looks at you as you shake their hand, and they nod and smile.
And Greff then walks around and is going to head for the cathedral.
I assume that Ivoris is going with?
Yeah, I'm following.
Okay. You make your way into the cathedral, which is emptying out. It's a fairly large cathedral. You could probably fit like nearly 50, 60 people in here. It's fairly big for what it is. You can see at the one end there's like a small dais, a small raised section. Even from here, you can see that there have been bones and blood cast upon the floor. You can see that there is an entrance, an entrance to a small office on one side, and there is entrance to what looks like a spiral staircase on the other side. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be many people in here. They're mostly filtering out. You see a few acolytes trying to like clean up the dais area with all the bones and the blood and whatnot.
We seem to have missed a hell of a show.
Apparently.
I feel like we should ask some of the people who work here about help, but at the same time, they just kind of finished something, so I don't know.
Ivoris will kind of walk over to the office door. Is anyone in there? Did you say whether there's someone in there? There's
no one in there at the moment. It looks like what would be like the head cleric's office. They are clearly a disciple of a life god. You can take a religion check if you really want to. And there are a couple of acolytes wandering around. Just they're kind of like looking at you surreptitiously, like staring between them. They're young little turtles. They're young little ones. There's 2 of them. And they're kind of like giving you a side look and like talking between themselves, like, what is he doing here? That sort of thing.
Ivoris nods and gives them a slight wave. Maybe you should talk to them, Greff.
Okay. Greff's gonna walk towards any acolyte that like did that unlucky thing of looking in at him exactly at the same time as he looked at him.
Yeah, they caught your eye. Fuck,
Yeah.
I'm screwed. Yeah.
And
They stand there. They're kind of like shaking a little bit as they're kind of looking at you. They're also wearing a skull mask on, but this one has the lower jaw on it. There are symbols painted on them.
Greff just gonna like he's doing his best at being approachable, I guess. So he
Whatever that means.
Yeah, whatever that means for Greff.
Wait, what race did you say this person was?
The two little acolytes are turtles.
Turtles are short? I don't remember.
Yeah, they're also little. They're baby turtles, basically. And they're not like
you will be.
swaddling ones, but they're real young turtles. Like the shell isn't quite as solid as it should be yet.
I want to cuddle them. I'm not even there. I want to cuddle them.
Wait, no, Greff isn't gonna go talk to children. That's not the plan.
I told you they were acolytes and they were little.
I told you. You should do it.
Okay,
I told you
fine.
to.
As you kind of
Hey
like
there,
make your way
kids.
over, like you two are just like, should we talk to the children? And Griff's like, no, I don't talk to the children. I'm going to save you from this situation.
Thank you.
The drow cleric appears, and he looks at the pair of you. The drow cleric appears. They look at the pair of you and they say, "Can I help you, my brothers?"
I would hope so, yes. I'm sorry to... And Greff kind of seems to be looking around, looking for words. Bother you. If you do have the time, I would like to ask you a couple of questions. Maybe even just one.
Please give me a minute. Let my acolytes tidy up, and we shall talk. He turns to the turtles, mutters something very quietly to them, hands over their ceremonial mask, and you see that it's a drow with slick back white hair. Their face is quite youngish. They place the staff in the hand of the other one, and the pair of them like scuttle off to the office, and you hear them rattling around in there and locking and closing things. The cleric gestures for you to sit down. And just very casually, like mates hanging out, just like sits down, one arm across the back of the kind of like pew, other hand just like resting on their knee. Yeah.
By the way, 100% when the cleric like warmly received Greff turned around and like did like a smile and 2 thumbs up, but Ivoris like, look, I did it.
Yeah, way to go.
Yeah. Greff has a seat and just like, I'm sorry to bother you with what I assume is just my own little fancy, but I heard there was a fighting school in this town many hundreds of years ago. More of a sword fighting school, at least what I read about it. You wouldn't happen to know those stories?
I have heard of them, yes. Apparently it used to be under this very cathedral here itself. This fighting school, Moki.
Yeah.
Moki. This fighting school, Moki's fighting school, they had almost as big a following as the gods here.
So you have heard of it.
It is... there are many places below the cliffs here at Freedom's Bluff. I would not be surprised if the rumors are true.
You said that it may have been, because this is the same rumor I heard, that it was actually in this cathedral or underneath it or somehow accessed through the cathedral. Now, You being a high cleric here, I assume that you know every nook and cranny of this.
I have been here but a few years. I transferred down from Shilvana. Cleric's religion not doing so well up there, so I came here where
I know,
I'm
right?
more
Greff
able
actually
to.
like cuts in when he says like the churches aren't doing well. It goes like, I know, right? Like they don't seem to be taking care of their churches. It's all machines, no gods.
Yes, that is. It does not sit well with me, and the way that I celebrate my particular devotion, it does not fit well with the nobility over there. I'm very much more of a visceral, hands-on cleric.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm letting myself get distracted. We also come from Sylvana, and I've only been there a couple of years now, but it's
Take an insight check.
all right. No advantage or disadvantage, right?
No advantage, no disadvantage.
It's a 23. I rolled an 18.
Jesus. When you mention that you're both from Sylvana, they kind of like raise one eyebrow, and you notice that they're looking at you, and they slide their eyes across to Ivoris, and they say, "That is not strictly true, is it? I am sorry for your loss," and looks at Ivoris. I cannot imagine losing my connection to my god. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
It is okay, I know what you are. You will find no judgment here. Please.
Iris kind of gives him a look like, damn.
Not everyone here is quite as accepting or open. I'm pretty sure that my acolytes, and gestures over to the two turtles that you can both hear still like rattling around in the office. Like, we're trying to drag this task out as long as possible so they don't have to deal with you two. They would probably be a little scared. I appreciate you keeping your tongue in your mouth, so to speak.
Not easy to do.
No.
Yeah, well, thank you. You said that we're not from Sylvana?
No, clearly you are not from Sylvana, and neither are you, my Goliath friend.
That does, yeah. Oh, well, I'm not from Sylvana. That's right. I came there, not born there. He like Greff is now eyeing the guy kind of like suspiciously, like right?
I am just messing with you, stating the obvious. So please, I feel like you haven't come here to receive the words of blessing, so what is it exactly you wish from this Temple of Lathander?
I want to find the entrance to the old fighting school. I want to become a greater fighter than I already am, the greatest. I want to fight among the greatest, and I want to win great battles. I came here looking for that school, along with other things me and my companions are doing.
The cleric sort of like leans forward, so his elbows are kind of like rested, like his arms are resting on his legs, and he leans forward, looking at you, and he says, "Why do you wish to become the greatest fighter? You are already very strong, obviously. You have, from the looks of you, actually, I'm going to give him an insight check for this.
Ooh.
Do I roll something against that, or are you just rolling casually?
I don't know. Are you trying to deceive him for what you are?
No. Just wondering.
You have the signs of much battle upon you and your armor. You have seen many fights and yet lived to tell the tale. Your friend here, and gestures at Ivoris, he has also been through the war. So the fact that you two are together, searching for a thing, leads me to conclude that you are probably great fighters already.
Surviving battle is not enough. You must grow yourself, grow your skills. I've searched for masters very far. Brought me to this town even. The orcs had some capable fighters, some amazing fighters. And Sylvana seems to be much lacking in the art of swords fighting. So, yeah, when I came to Freedom's Bluff and I knew of the old school, I desperately wanted to find it to become stronger, better.
As I said, I have only been here a year. I do not know all the ins and outs of this place. But my 2 acolytes over there, they are well versed in getting into trouble below. Come back tomorrow. I will see what I can do about finding more information about the entrance. Perhaps even have found it for you. I make no promises, but I can but try.
No promises needed. I only ask that if you find nothing, that you give me a day or so to look around myself.
He looks a little awkward and he says, we will jump off of that bridge when it comes to it, yes?
Greff does not look happy, but it's just like, yeah, when we get to, we'll burn that bridge when we get to it.
Not burn the... Never mind.
Please.
Ivoris gives an apologetic, like, I we know what he means.
Yeah, cleric to cleric, follower to follower, and he just nods and like gives you half a thing, and he leans back, puts his arm back, like, if you need a place to stay, this place will be open to you all evening. I have to continue about my duties, but if there is anything you need that I can help with, then just give me a shout.
Greff kind of shoots Ivoris a glance when he says this, like,
I feel like there is something you have not said yet. Like looking at Greff, like nudge, like the over, like wink, wink, nudge, nudge in your
Out
direction.
of character, what are you nudging me about?
White,
Milhook.
Yeah,
Milhook.
We can do all the other stuff.
This is the Thander, right?
Yeah,
this isn't. Is this not a? This isn't a temple to Savras?
No.
Okay. Do you happen to know where the temple of Savras is or was? When he does those S's, because he knows that he has to say Savras, he pointedly, like, kind of puts himself on the in a position where the children won't necessarily see it. He's mindful.
You're kind of like clenching your teeth together as you say it, so your tongue is like stuck in your mouth.
Sometimes he can, but for hard S's, no.
Savras.
Usually it just avoids S.
Suffering secretary.
He can sometimes like keep it, but his tongue is very long and inconvenient, so it does just, and he has to smell with it, so it is just kind of always around, and he has to focus on it not being around. So.
No, that's cool. There has not been a temple or a place of devotion here to Savras for many years.
Oh.
There are only a few gods worshipped here. Can I ask? And they gesture to your, like, state of being, I guess.
How do you mean? How
do
I'm
you
holding
do?
up? Oh.
Yes. Must be very difficult. How does... You are clearly not a cleric. You are probably not a warlock or a sorcerer, so it leads me to deduce probably some sort of paladin or a holy man of some sort. How...
He nods to him when he says paladin.
Yeah. How does your gifts work now?
He casts detect magic.
Okay.
Did you say the ceiling was very high in this cathedral?
I am now, sure.
Oh no!
It's about, let's see, what's the range of
60 feet?
It's 60 feet high ceiling.
60 foot or 30 foot or something dumb.
No, it's 30 feet, yeah.
Yeah, detect magic.
I can cast something that's not detect magic if you want me to.
You can. I don't. You wanted to cast it.
But that's my tactical if I'm going to waste
I will just deal with it.
Yeah, I don't really have. I do have cantrips, but they're not paladin cantrips, so none of them really spark the thing. The other thing I can do is lay on hands. So the go-to nonsense spell is detect magic in this case.
Okay. With your detect magic, can you roll an Arcana, please?
10.
With a 10, you detect cantrips, I guess.
Cool.
Cool. You don't notice what you've normally noticed on Greff.
Well, detect magic in general would pick up first level at the least.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, we'll give that. Still, you don't detect anything on Greff. This guy is wearing a ring. Oh my god. This is where I need the scores. I hate this score thing. I hate it so much. Okay, I'm probably wrong, but I think it's a mixture of transmutation and evocation.
Okay. He's not showing much particular interest. And you have to roll the thing, I think.
I would like you to roll a d10, please. I am kind of hoping that your small companion...
Mr. Want Gold! Mr. Want Gold!
Mr. Want Gold?
No, don't summon the kobold. He's gonna steal from the church tithes or whatever the fuck.
What does a 2 do?
You die.
On a 2, as you cast
kobold.
detect magic, he's seeing that you're making the sounds, moving the hand, so he knows you're casting a spell. He doesn't know what, but he knows you're casting something. As you cast this spell and you become aware that on his ring, he has a mixture of evocation and transmutation magic on his ring. You guys feel something like kind of out the corner of your eye. You just see it, and as you kind of look up, you see this like shower of like pink and red rose petals falling, and as they touch you, they absorb into your skin, and you gain 1d6 healing. Not that you guys have taken any damage.
Oh,
Woo.
that's not terrible.
No, not all of them are terrible. Not all of them are dumb. Some of them are. But not all of them.
Usually it's less convenient. Let me try something else. And he does divine sense. Which I believe is a different table, is it not?
No, it's only on Smite that you have a different table.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not good. I'm not going to be able to do that one.
You're not gonna Smite.
Hit me with your god magic.
What are you doing? Divine Sense? Tell me what that does, and then we'll roll on the chart.
Yeah, I think he's just curious now, and this is.
Are
just
you taking
another bullshit
inventory
thing.
of all your abilities? Is that
I
what's
have
happening?
6 uses of this useless thing. This doesn't
Oh
take
my
anything.
gosh! Yeah, you must have to use it.
Yeah,
Why do you have 6
divine
uses?
sense. The presence of strong evil registers on your senses, like a smell. So he sticks his tongue out. And powerful good is heaven music in my ears. As an action, you open your awareness to detect such forces. I cannot read from a distance. I know within 60 feet of me if there are any celestials, fiends, or undeads, basically.
You are clearly on hallowed ground.
Okay.
Duh. Clearly on hallowed ground. The person in front of you is clearly someone who has been blessed, sanctified, yada yada, all this good jazz. You don't detect any celestials, undead, fiends, any of that on your list. None of that sparks off, but you do get that kind of heavenly music because you are in a very like sanctified, holy space.
Cool.
Roll a d10, please.
Wonderful. 10.
On a 10, you guys kind of like feel this sharp metallic ting on the back of your head, and it's all over as it rains gold pieces.
What?
Oh, that's happening again now.
Yeah. Those will go away. They don't stick around.
This is not real.
Well, for now,
Random
they are.
side effects with your magic. Fairly unusual.
Usually there's a little kobold that shows up and runs away and comes
kobold.
back with I don't know.
Interesting.
It's random.
Perhaps the gods are trying to fill in for your lack of a god? Maybe. Unsure.
I don't
Well.
know.
Anyway, it seemed like you were asking your friend here, and points to the gloth, seemed to be indicating that there was something else to be asked. When I rudely interrupted, I am very sorry.
Oh, we're looking for another paladin of Saras. White Tabaxi. Millhook is the name.
They shake their head. It does not ring a bell. I am sorry.
Yeah, worth a try. I appreciate it. All right. Well, we will check in later. Thank you for your help.
You are most welcome. I better attend to my acolytes. The twins tend to get into a lot of trouble if you don't keep an eye on them. Depart in peace. And they get up and they make their way towards the office. You kind of hear that low grumbling, like, chatter of, like, they've done something wrong. He's chiding them for something. The kids are just being kids. Okay, I'm going to say that's probably, if you guys make your way out or if you guys want to pray here a little bit, it's up to you. But if you guys aren't going to do anything else, then I'll say that Arawn is hit half hour.
Yeah, we look, as we make our way back to where we left him, we keep an eye out in, I guess, the air for him. And if we see him, we will.
Hey guys, I'm all done. I'm on my way. Where are you?
Okay. Yeah, we're done.
Oh. Really? Anything fun? What did I miss? Did you find cool things? Did you bring something for me?
They're going to look for us, and we're going to check back later.
Who's going to look?
Some children that get into hidden mischief places.
Oh. Okay. I found cool things. I took some notes. It's fine.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. It's my usual thing.
Yeah.
Hey, I think I see you guys down there.
Oh, yeah, look.
Greff, grab one of the torches, wave it around. Let me see if it's you.
How about I just put my hands in the air and wave them like I care a little bit less?
You're causing a lot of attention up there. You should come down.
Okay, Arawn will fly down, and he wants to see like if he gets the same reaction, like if as he's flying down, like if people are like happy that he's flying for some reason. He was a little distracted the first time it happened, but like kind of confused by that.
As you kind of like launch yourself off the wall and you take to the air, your majestic wings going wide. Again, you just hear this kind of like a bit of a cheer and some chanting. You hear like drums going off. They're a little bit more rhythmic now that the sun has gone down, but they seem to like pick up in gusto when they see something flying across the sky. Yeah.
Do I see anybody that's like staring at me as I'm doing this?
Not really. I mean, just like most people just like look up, like most of the kids are like, hey, look, the thing in the sky, and people just like cheer and applaud, or like some adults look over in your direction and you see them. It's generally a good thing, I guess. You don't see anyone in particular. Or do you? Could you, is what I'm trying to say myself.
Or do I?
Or do you? Tell you, take a perception check. It's more of a chance, really.
13.
Nah, you don't spot anyone of significance keeping an eye out for you.
Gotcha.
When Arawn joins us, Greff's just kind of like, I kind of dig this place. They're having fun. They're having a lot of fun.
They like me. They like me flying for some reason.
Yeah, flying is pretty fucking cool. I'm not surprised people dig it.
It's just a thing. I never really think about it. Well,
Greff kind of tucks on your like metal wings and goes like, "Oh, you think about flying a lot? Don't lie."
I did, and then I fixed it, and then it became a non-issue.
Exactly. No, it's fun. It's fun.
It is fun.
V, you said that the people are like, oh, sorry, you're writing something.
Yeah, Carol.
You said that people are like dancing around like little campfires and just generally having a good time.
Yeah. So some of the fires, there are clearly just like one person. They seem to be in charge of like the dancing, and they're like performing something. And you can just feel that electric like buzz of magic in the air. You can see like, but quite often like the campfires are just like families, just like singing and dancing and drinking together. Like there seems to be a lot of celebrating going on today.
Fuck it. Greff's joining in on like one of the fucking campfires.
Okay.
Just kind of like follow.
Absolutely. Give me a race that you want to be dancing with.
Oh, I think Greff's most comfortable with the tabaxi.
Okay.
So Yeah, Greff just finds a leader that is Tabaxi and just tries to like imitate what everybody else is doing and kind of join in.
Okay,
I guess we're standing on the sidelines then while Greff is dancing.
you go join a tabaxi family. They're mostly like that kind of like tortoise shell coloring to them. They're kind of like brownishy, redishy, kind of like that kind of thing. And you see that there is a leader of this family. He's male, and he's just wearing like a loincloth, and he's holding like a skull in one hand. And they just seem to be dancing around and having fun. At various times, he'll reach out, he'll grab someone from the symbol of his family, and he'll pass the skull over to them, and they'll dance with it and to pick someone up and bring them into the dance. One of them begins to dance near you, and this tabaxi male, after he gets the skull back, he sees you, like standing at the edge, like kind of trying to join in their jiving, and he just like grabs you by the wrist, puts the skull in your hand, and pulls you into the circle around the fire. Take a performance check.
Oh no!
Oh boy. There it is.
All right, now I've downed 2 or 3 good beers. My
Fine.
That's all you needed to say.
Performance.
I'm drunk. I dance good.
Oh, it's a natural
And
20.
the answer is yes, he does.
Oh my god. What is happening?
Greff knows a ancient tabaxi ritual dance that even Ivoris doesn't know.
There's something.
All the tabaxi.
There's something about this dance. There's something about the skull you're holding. There's something about what's going on that's really speaking to you. Like, you were drawn to this family for some reason. You were drawn to dance at this moment. It feels like fate has like enveloped you and decided, yes, today is your moment. And as you dance, you begin to feel magic whirling around you. It kind of like holds on to you. You feel this kind of like very...
Stop I'm raising my head. I have detect magic. Go.
I will deal with that in a minute then.
Okay.
And divine sense, right? Or was that an instant thing?
That's an instant thing.
That doesn't break concentration.
Yeah, you still have detect magic. That's fine. As magic begins to like whir up around you, you begin to just connect with the energy and the feeling of this place. You begin to feel something very peculiar to you. You've never really had like the god magic-y thing coming from within you, but you can feel it. You're touching out and touching everything that's going on around you. Oh my god, dude. I hate this so much. As you're dancing around, you stop, throw your hands in the air, and the skull floats up, and just everyone around you goes very quiet. And as it begins to like float back down, you keep your hands in place. It's like kind of frozen in place, and it touches you. The skull kind of like breaks into 2 on your hands, and as you look at it, you see symbols that you haven't seen for a very long time written on the inside, and they're glowing. And they speak to you, and they say, far below the cathedral is a thing that you seek. Go now. And then those words disappear. What you see, Ivoris, is you see just holy fucking magic. Like, just a lot of holy crap here. It's like a white glow is coming from Greff as he's dancing. There is a lot of it, and it focuses in that skull, and as it floats down and breaks into his hands, it's like a flash of bright light. And as the words fade out for Greff, the light fades out for you. You have 2 pieces of a broken skull in your hand. Greff, you are also seeing a very small white light just floating around in the air. Ivoris, you have detect magic, so you would see this too.
Greff just kind of holds the 2 pieces of the skull and looks at the people. Do they look pissed?
Take a persuasion check.
No, I've been drinking all night.
You broke their skull. No.
That's an 8.
The tabaxi male, the leader, just looks super angry, and he comes over and he says, "That's our family's relic. That's our family's skull. You broke it."
I'm sorry. The air, it did something. It floated. I can't. He gives it back to him. Greff just starts like backing up and like keeping an eye on the light. It's just like the skull. It spoke to me. I have to go. I need to.
The guy's like looking down at his skull, which is broken into pieces, into two clean pieces, and just looking at you, just like backing away slowly, and just like looks around at his family in a very like, now what do we do? Like kind of manner.
Arawn's gonna step forward and be like, hold on a second. You know what? I apologize for my friend here. And he's gonna hold his hands over the two skull pieces and cast mending on it.
The guy takes the skull very gratefully. The family around him just like cheer and applaud. And they're just like super happy the skull is back in one piece.
Magical effects right now?
You what, sorry?
The skull doesn't have any magical properties.
No,
right
the
now?
skull itself doesn't, and it didn't until Greff started dancing like within this like weird magical aura that just seems to be around everywhere. It's a whole hue of colors that you're seeing, but it's very faint. Greff just nailed the ritualistic dance of this thing with his nat 20, you motherfucker. Yeah, you're seeing this small, like, little white light. It's definitely like a celestial type thing. So you're seeing, like, holy magic. I don't know what the skull equivalent would be. And yeah, it seems to be bouncing its way towards, like, the cathedral.
Yeah,
divination. That's what you're looking for.
Thank you very much. Divination.
Yeah, Greff just kind of goes like, yeah, that's my buddy. He's fixing that for me. Guys, I'm going back here. You can follow me if you want. And then he just keeps following the light.
Are you two following Greff and his magical light, which is invisible to everyone except Ivoris, who has detect magic on, and Greff?
I guess so. Arawn's just going to turn back to them and say, I apologize again for my friend. Have a good night. And then he's just going to fly up into the air and follow after Greff.
The family that you just flew away from, they're more like, oh my god, the skull is in one piece. Then they are cheering, applauding the flying. But yeah, you managed to like keep an aerial view on Greff fairly easily.
Ivoris
Greff,
is like struggling to keep up.
Yeah,
Greff,
this light is
Greff.
going at some speed. It's
Greff's
going
booking
about
it.
like 35, 40 foot per second, per round, whatever you want to call it.
Greff, do you have a god? Do you do god things?
Greff kind of just shouts out behind him like, no, the gods never really did anything for me, so I never really prayed to them. I mean,
Well,
the
they
only
did
god
this.
I don't know what this is, and I'm just gonna keep up with it.
You
The
did
skull
it.
promised
You
me
did
the
it with
school.
the
I didn't
dance
get the
thing
school.
you did. I thought you knew what you were doing.
I was just
This is a religious thing.
jiving. I wasn't trying to do magic.
As you guys have reached the cathedral, a couple of like very big like bonfires have been erected. They're pretty huge. And you see lots of people again like dancing around the edge of this, just like cheering and drinking and celebrating. There's a crowd that's gotten quite close to the cathedral itself. And around the edge of it, and you can see that there are people who are kind of like floating like a couple of feet off the air, and they seem to be like performing just very basic magical tricks. Like, you know, it's something to behold, like watching fireworks going off or people like juggling and eating fire. Yes, some of them are tieflings, so it's not a big deal, but you know what I mean? It's kind of that whole like jovial thing that's going on right now. There's a big crowd of them. They are barring your way. The light just zips through them and into the cathedral.
Greff is doing... Yeah, no, I think Greff's getting, like, rough with the people, like, using his strength and size to, like, push them out of the way. He doesn't want to lose sight of the light.
You begin to, like, make your way through them. They're counted as rough terrain, so it's kind of slowed your move down quite a bit. But yeah, you can begin to push your way through. Ivoris, are you following closely behind him, or are you just
Yeah,
like,
I'm trying to keep
don't wanna
up.
s- You're trying to keep up.
This is god things. Not my god things, but I mean,
I just fly over people.
he's
Yeah, like,
curious.
yeah, I was gonna say, like, Arawn just flying above them, like, what are these people doing? You guys make your way to the cathedral proper. The doors are open. There are some torches that have been lit in here since. You can see that the dais at the other end has been completely cleared up. And you see, like, at the very edge, as you just, like, run in, you can see this little light just, like, bamf down into the ground, almost at the very center of this place. Just straight through the earthwork.
Greff just runs where he saw it go down and just starts slapping at the ground, like hoping to find like a hollow panel or something.
Take an investigation check.
I still have detect magic going. Is there something around that could be concealing or anything that could...
What the
Not
fuck?
magical.
Oh,
What the fuck?
mind, I don't...
What is happening?
That's another natural 20 on my investigation.
What is happening? Is this your moment of truth? Did we move over to masks? Is this Greff's moment of truth?
One more nat 20 and Greff owns the sword school.
No, one more nat 20 and he fucking dies.
One more at 20, I rage quit this game. I'm joking. You go over and you begin like you see where this landed down, and it's landed in like the symbol of Lathander. Let me double check exactly what the symbol of Lathander is. I think it's an eye. Yeah, it's the morning god. Basically, it's a sun over some fields.
The morning lord.
The morning lord. The morning. Yeah. It's however late at night, so I don't know why I'm speaking to you right now. So there's this circular thing on the ground, and it shows the sun over some hills. And as you begin like tapping around this very large like mosaic that's on the floor, and you begin tapping around on the various bricks, you just like look at it, look at the very center of the sun, and you're like, yeah, that's the one. You just bamf it, and it's clearly hollow. And as you begin to like continue looking around, you can see that the points of the star, there are 6 points, that they have a little tiny like circular a circular tile, and you just press each of them in turn, just like this one and this one and this one and this one and this one, and you hear a click and the entire mosaic begins to drop.
I'm assuming Ivoris and Arawn are with me at this point.
Sure, this adds to my distress.
Arawn's like hovering above you, watching like, what the fuck is happening right now?
I've got this. The gods are speaking through me right now.
Ivoris takes his hand and like pulls his sword hilt up just a small bit and like makes a little nick on his finger and like plays with the blood a little bit.
Okay.
I'm not dreaming.
And then, is this the real life? Am I alive?
Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy?
It is in fact fantasy.
Oh. All right, this thing is going down into darkness. Are you going to jump on it, or are you just going to let it pop back up?
No, Greff's going down.
What about you two?
Arawn looks at Ivoris with like clear confusion on his face, and then kind of just pulls his wings, tucks his wings in, and just drops.
All right, you guys make your way down into the catacombs of this place.
Wait, Ivoris, are you joining or not?
Oh yeah, I'm going.
Okay.
Secret door, secret door, secret door, secret door.
Secret tunnel.
He just
Oh
thinks
my
he's dreaming.
Through the cathedral.
He had to verify that he was not dreaming.
All right, so that bypasses 4 interesting characters that I could have used names for, but thank you very much, guys.
2 nat 20s. What do you...
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to ruin your characters.
Whatever. They'll come back and haunt you in another place. They'll be in your dreams, I swear. Okay. You guys are on this descending platform. It goes down like 20, 30 feet. And at the very bottom, you just hear a click, and you see lights, torches on the walls just begin to light up like every 20 feet. And it goes for like 100 feet. You find yourself in a very low corridor. It's stone. It's clearly supposed to be here. The stone is the same that has been built up with the temple above it. It goes on some distance. At the very end of it, you can see that it opens out into clearly what is a much larger room. It's very cold down here. That's about all you're getting.
Greff, what the fuck just happened?
I do not see the white light anymore, do I?
No, it's gone.
Okay.
It's basically, it took you just that little bit too long to follow it where it needs to go.
Yeah, no problem. Greff just kind of looks to Arawn and is just like, okay, my dance are good, and they lead me to great things. Yeah, that sounds about right. And then just starts walking down the tunnel.
Wait, hold on, Greff. Wait, hold. No.
As Greff steps off the platform, it begins to rise.
Ooh.
Okay, well, I guess we're fucking going in.
This isn't how I'd intended this to go down, so you're dealing with what I can throw at you now. Thanks, Greff.
Think
Please one Greff angered the other.
Okay.
I feel like this might have been like supposed to be a couple episodes later, and we might be like
Do you know,
underleveled
honestly,
for this area.
Do you know, honestly, it just means the character voices I developed, I can put somewhere else. So I'm okay.
It's a win-win.
Fantastic. Okay. We're in a catacomb underneath a church right now.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe don't lead the way right now, Greff, because we don't know what sort of traps might be laying about. These things are usually defended.
Okay.
So, okay. You're very big and my wings are very bulky, so just flatten yourself against the wall so I can try to... Excuse me. And I imagine like it's very comedy style, like trying to shuffle past.
Like, I think you've got big wings. Greff is just ginormously huge as he is and carrying big weapons. And then there's Ivoris who's covered in armor.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like watching a squid get out of a car. This is unpleasant to see.
I imagine it takes like a minute and then Arawn just gets to the front and as they're going along, first he's gonna ritual cast detect magic.
Okay. Roll Arcana. I'm going to say that your detect magic has dropped off because I think it's 10 minutes, right?
Yeah, it's a 10-minute.
Yeah, yours would have dropped off by now, Ivoris.
Okay.
Do you want to...
Nope, that's a 9. So level 1 in
those 10 minutes.
What's that?
Does Ivoris want to cast some spell for 10 minutes?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm just getting a bunch of divinity, but I can try again.
Go for it.
Well, we're trying to keep an eye out for traps. That's the main point here.
Do that and do your Arcana, please.
18. That's not bad for my +2.
Okay. On an 18, you see the magic that has been around Greff that you've glanced on occasion. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
You see the usual magic coming off of Arawn's stuff. Yeah, that's about all the kind of magic that either of you really see. There's nothing hugely magical down here.
Okay. And then as we're going, just Arawn's checking for traps, making sure there's no tripwires or pressure plates.
Take an investigation check for me, please.
Wow.
Oof.
That's a nat 1. So a total of 6.
Okay. As you are making your way down and you are investigating for traps, you begin to like tap on the walls, tap on the ground, like keep an eye on the torches and see if them are any different. You guys go down this 100 foot of corridor and you find yourselves out into a much larger room. This much larger room is definitely a catacomb. There are recesses dug into the walls all around you, and there are clearly corpses, preserved corpses, like placed into those shelves in the wall. In the very center of this room, on like shelves, there are just endless amounts of skulls. It's fairly cold down here. It gives you that uncomfortable feeling, but there's no real magic here, apart from the fact that y'all would know that it's a blessed area. That's basically what you can really get out of that divine magic. This room is pretty large. There are three stacks of skull shelves in the middle of this room. Everything around the edge of this room has been dug out, and there are at least 3 corpses per stack that is in the walls. Some of them are wearing clothing. They're of all different races here. I'm just going to leave that hanging, and if you guys want to investigate that further, that's entirely up to you. But that's the room.
Are they like they're all
receive it?
They're all like out in the open. They're not like in any sarcophagi or anything like that, right?
They are not. No.
They're just in their own like alcoves.
Yeah, they're on their own alcoves. There's a lot of like dust and webs and stuff down here. Yeah.
Any other exits?
Not that you can see from where you are.
Greff is gonna go look at the skull stacks, skull shelves, as you call them, with his eyes, not touching anything at the moment.
Touch it with his eyes. As he boldly steps out into this room with the Nat 1 on the investigation, absolutely nothing happens. It's not trapped down here. Why would they do that?
To protect the integrity of the corpses. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, there's no traps down here. You didn't trigger anything. I just wanted to steal.
Listen, I've played Skyrim. There were plenty of traps in those rooms.
We're going
As
to
a
protect
Turok.
the integrity of these corpses by, if anything comes in this room, they all catch on fire. Fireball.
Listen, I never said that the Skyrim dungeons make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no oil. There's nothing that's going to set on fire.
No conveniently placed oil flasks.
No, none of these.
This will protect the bodies.
There's no Durgar that's suddenly going to
fire.
crawl out from the wall and attack you. There's none of that BS going on. Yeah, you get to the 3 stacks of shelves. You can see. Take an investigation check. Which one are you investigating? Yes, the one nearest to us, the one in the middle, or the one furthest away?
I guess he would go to the one closest to him.
Okay, take an investigation check.
That's a 4.
It's in the dark, so I was about to say, unless anyone's gonna light a torch in this mess, it disadvantaged, but you've got a 4 anyway. Yeah, you can see that there are numbers carved into this. There are names carved into this too. In the very center of like the kind of pillar on the left-hand side, the support, there is a number carved in here, and it's just a 1.
Okay.
Like, that's all I'm going to give you on a 4. Just what you basically see.
Ivoris is going to look around too, and particularly for any religious things.
Are you hugging like the left wall or the right wall?
I'm going to hug the right wall.
Arawn's going to go to the left then.
Okay, I will deal with Ivoris first. Let's say that someone in here has lit a torch because the sake of brevity, and I think some people can't see in the dark.
Yeah.
We're adventurers.
A person can't see in the dark.
A person can't
I
see in the
can
dark.
see in the dark.
Greff. Okay, so Ivoris, where are you going? Left, right, center?
I'm
Talk
going
me
to
through
the
what you're
right.
doing. You've gone to the right.
I'm looking
Okay.
along the walls and on the ground and on any objects specifically. I think I still have detect magic going.
Yes, I'm going to say yeah. You guys, you two have detect magic going.
And I'm looking for also like any religious symbols or anything.
Okay.
Trying to piece
You do
together what
detect.
this room is.
You do on the right hand side detect a fair amount of religious symbols or focuses. Funnily enough, they're all of Lathander. But that's all that you really see magically. 1 or 2 of them have like a magical ring or a magical dagger or something. There are a variety of races now that you're investigating and having a look a bit more intently. Can you make an investigation check for me, please?
Don't get a 4.
19.
Wow.
Yeah.
Smarty pants.
On a 19, you recognize a lot of races here. There are Tortle, Tabaxi, Goblins. There is even a couple of Yunti here, but those are very old corpses. The further away you get from the doorway where you are, the older the corpses become. And then you recognize a creature. I'm going to need you to take a history check for you to recognize what race this is.
Oh, nat 1.
All right, it's humanoid-looking figure, a bit like a drow, but their skin isn't dark. You notice them lying here. You think you know what it might be, but you can't put your like someone's told you the name of this, but you know you're never going to pronounce it correctly. You see them lying here. They also have a symbol of Lathander with them. Yeah, that's what you spot at the end of this right-hand side. All right, let's go over to Arawn. What are you doing right now?
Pretty much the same thing like Ivoris was doing, hugging the left wall and just looking around.
Again, with your detect magic, you only really spot the magical, the focuses, unlike Ivoris, who spotted like an occasional like magic item on them. As you make your way along here, can you also make an investigation check for me, please?
Sure. 14.
On a 14, as you go further along, you also spot that the corpses get older and older. However, when you get to the very end of the row and you look at the last corpse laying there, it is a very... Can I get you to make a history check just so you can identify what this is?
17.
Of course you would.
I'm not even proficient in that one.
No vision this shit. As you look at the humanoid figure looking there, they don't have the pointy ears of a drow. They don't have the darker skin or the very pale hair you'd expect of drows of that size and shape. They are not tieflings. They do not have horns. You recognize this as probably from the descriptions, probably a human corpse. And as you kind of look up and down, you see a couple of the other Discora-typical races laying here. The human interests you a bit more, though, because although they have a symbol of Lathander clasped in their hands, it is not emanating, it's not giving off a divine nature. It's not giving off any magical aura at all. You may all do as you wish now.
I'm going to touch it.
Cool. It's cold.
I pick up the symbol.
It's you hear the cracking of a knuckle bone as you kind of like pull it out from the grasp of a dead man. Classy.
I look it over to see if I can figure out why it's not magical.
What was that you're saying, Neil?
I have a classy question.
Okay.
Wow.
Those Yanti, were any of the magic objects on them? Because if there is a corpse that I'm going to defile, it's going to be one of those.
Yes, one of them has a ring. Let me...
Okay. I'm going to pick that off and look at it and try to figure out what this Yanti was doing here, figure out why it was wearing this ring.
All right, it's abjuration magic.
Okay.
It's an abjuration magic. It is a ring. It is a ring.
I put it on rather
of...
curiously.
Are you putting it on?
Oh.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, Greff is no longer the dumbest person in this group.
It was on someone else. Like, you guys assume that people just wear traps. Like, that's a thing.
All right.
It was a possession. Like, someone had a bad ring on. It's a ring that kills you to death.
What? Okay, but what if, crazy thing, what if that ring was actually to suppress the body from coming back to life?
Well, it would have had a way bigger magical aura.
Then we have a lot more bodies to worry about because there's a lot of them without rings.
Oh, man.
Well, no, because in Skyrim, not all of the corpses animated. Only some of them were Draugr.
Okay.
She went to the spike thing that kills you.
It is an abjuration ring. You put it on. It won't come off.
Ah, fuck.
Nice.
This is all I'm giving you.
Oh, shit.
You need to attune to it to get the full effects. But the curse, inverted commas, is now on you. Suck it.
Man, good thing you have so many friends that have remove curse.
Yep.
All of none.
I can count on one hand how many friends with remove curse you have. Hey, you didn't move any fingers. That's right.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm about to remove one finger, so.
Johnny No Fingers can count that amount of friends.
Even Greff can count that many.
If I remove that finger, period, I don't have to do the math anymore.
That's
because
true.
it won't matter.
That's true. It's up to you to remove this thing. But yeah, you put this ring on. It's a ring that looks like it's a snake that's eating its tail. And as you slide it on, the kind of the engraving on this brass ring around where the eyes is, they glow momentarily dark purple. And then you see the kind of purple just like spread into like show all your veins up and stuff. And then it just disappears out and you can't remove the ring.
Oof.
Ah, fuck.
Have fun. Okay.
Greff is gonna move over to the second shelf. And now he has a torch.
Take an investigation check for me,
For the record, this is why we can't have nice things. It's because every time we look for them, they're traps.
Oh boy, 7.
You see a bunch of names carved into the wooden panel where the side, and you see a number. You see a number 2. You really don't learn anything else. Arawn.
Hi.
Hi. You're checking out this non-magical relic?
Yeah, I want to figure out what's going on here with why it's not magic when all the others were.
You look at it. It doesn't have any real weight to it. And as you kind of look at it and you rub your thumb over it, like you begin to like peel off paint, which you know isn't normal. And as you kind of like look it over a bit more and you look at the back has been engraved with some numbers, 221. That's it. That's all you find. Don't need investigation for that. Like, this is just clearly what you see.
Arawn gets like super excited seeing that and is like, "Oh, it's a puzzle. Okay. Hey, Ivoris. Hey.
Yeah, I might have fucked something up.
Yeah. Wait, what?
I wish we could have that as the episode name, but we'll never get away with it.
I mean, I found something exciting, but what? Oh, hold on. Arawn's gonna remember where he was and then go over to where Ivoris is. What did you do?
Ivoris like pokes at this corpse and like points out all the Yonti features.
Okay.
That's a Yonti.
Right.
It had a ring.
Uh-huh. There was a human over there.
Yeah. Did you put the ring on?
There was no ring. I found this cool symbol though. It had numbers on it. It was fake. There was paint on it. Look, there's numbers on the back. See?
Did somebody say numbers?
I think there's a puzzle in here.
Does the puzzle remove this ring? And he
What?
shows you his new bling.
You see like a kind of brassy looking snake wrapped around his finger.
Arawn just like reaches out and tries to.
You can't remove it. There's no way this is coming off. Like, no amount of spit or like string is going to get this off.
I've heard it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm aware. Thanks.
Okay, you're an idiot. Okay. Stay still. Arawn's gonna stand there and ritual cast identify.
Greff.
I move on to shelf number 3.
Take an investigation check.
12.
As you get there, you see a bunch of names carved into the sides. You see a number 3, but as you look more intently at it, you realize it's a button.
Oh, Greff.
No, wait.
Greff's not gonna push the button. He's gonna go make sure that the other 2 are buttons also. But
Greff made the smarter decision for once.
They are, in fact, buttons.
all right, Greff's gonna start playing them like the bongo drums.
You're just going to randomly play what?
Da 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 bongo drums. Dum ba dum ba dum ba dum bum.
Are you playing the buttons?
No, Greff is not doing that. Arch just stood up, so I wanted to waste some time. Greff
You
moves
didn't need to waste time.
Greff's gonna move over to where the guys are and like sees Arawn focusing on a spell. Sees Ivoris holding his finger out, probably a light glint of shame in his eyes.
A light glint?
He's just avoiding eye contact, kind of looking down.
Yep.
You see his eyes like flick up every now and then. Otherwise, he has no expression.
And then he just goes kind of like, I'm just gonna let you guys do this. I might have, when you're done here, I might have found something. And then Greff is just going to
Arawn like idly does like a thumbs up at him as he's.
And Greff's just going to go.
What's Greff going to do? Because these two are fucking about for 10 minutes doing dickle.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do?
I think Greff's just gonna look at the corpses, seeing that Ivoris decided to go grave looting.
No, but it's bad for me. You saw that.
I know, but Greff's like Greff has no intention of like fucking with the corpses. He's just kind of like looking at them, like if any of them have like a cool fucking sword, he might like look at that closer.
You mean like the cool ring?
An investigation check.
You find a sword that kills all your friends. Good job.
That's a natural 1.
You find a
don't
sword
find
that kills all your
anything.
I find a very lame sword. It says Greff is looser on the hilt.
You find a wooden sword. It's broken and cracked. Like splinters, you know. No, you really don't find anything of note on a fucking natural one, dude.
No.
Fuck.
And I'm just gonna say that Greff kind of just wastes his time kind of looking over things. So in the future, if we're looking for something specific, he might have like glanced it.
Take one more investigation or a perception check. Go.
Ooh,
That's one more.
I want to do a
Because
perception.
it's 10 goddamn minutes.
That's a natural 20 on perception. So 25. You shouldn't have let me do that. You shouldn't have done that.
So Greff dies, right? Because that's three natural 20s in one session.
It's not
Yeah,
even
so that
close to in a row,
Great,
though.
like bright white light that had been guiding him here rises up out of one of the corpse's mouths and just smacks him in the chest, and he instantly dies. His body turns to ash, and his soul is destroyed by sulfur.
He literally sees the light.
Yeah, and no longer exists for the rest of the time. No, that's not what happens.
I can't believe that weird old lady at the bar was right.
On a natural 20, as you kind of like look around, you come across the I say a little while later, you come across the body of the dead human. You don't need a history check to identify this. You know what this is. As you kind of like begin looking over it, you can see that they're holding, you can see their hand's been like broken apart. Something has clearly been removed fairly recently from their corpse. You see that there is a wicked looking sword. As you go out to reach for it and pick it up, this sword is way too light. It doesn't have any weight or heft to it. You notice that the very end, after you kind of like blow off the dust, there is a red ruby in it. It looks kind of fake as you give it a better look, and like you kind of like, oh, is this glass? And as you give it a tap, like the thing just like falls out, and engraved into the socket are the numbers 221. There are a lot of shit things in here with these numbers on. Just as a heads up.
Those are the same numbers that were on the thing, right?
They are, yes.
2-2. Okay. Greff just kind of like throws the sword around, and eventually he's just gonna like lightly smack it against the floor, expecting it to just shatter.
Yeah, the gem just rolls out. That's it. You see that it's engraved with 221. That's it.
He puts it back and goes like, sorry for fucking with your stuff. Does some like little prayer or something, and then goes back over to the boys just as they finish doing their shenanigans.
Okay. You've cast Identify.
Yep.
This is a cursed ring of protection.
Oof.
It gives the wielder a +1 to AC, +1 to saving throws.
Nice.
But when it allows him to block telepathic communication, should he wish. However, when he dies, his soul will be taken into that ring, where he can then communicate with whoever wears it. His soul cannot be removed without a remove curse spell.
Oh. You merged the ring of mind shielding with the ring of protection.
Yes, I did.
Oh no, there's a soul in my ring.
That's
Is there a soul in my ring, V?
I don't know. I haven't spoken to you, Neil.
Would Identify tell me?
V. It was on a no, V.
Click Identify for me again. I know we've used it a lot, but because my roll 20 is being a fool.
How many charges it has?
Properties requires attunement. How many charges? Any spells are affecting what they are. If the item was created by the spell.
You wouldn't get a name. You would know that there's probably someone in here.
Okay, so after finishing casting, Arawn's gonna look at Ivoris and be like, so that's interesting. You found a cursed ring. Good job.
Yeah, it won't come off. I know. It's cursed.
We'll have to find someone to try to get that off of you. However, there's some things to it, and Arawn's gonna say all that, and then at the end be like, and I'm pretty sure there's probably a soul in there right now. So say hi to your new brain friend.
If you've ever seen Ivoris shocked or afraid or just utterly ruined, it's right now. His face is just complete shock.
It's not until you attune to it that you can actually use any of its abilities, I assume.
He gets the +1 AC, but everything else, you need to attune into.
Oh, so actually he might be able, if he doesn't attune to it, then he might be able to avoid the soul part, I would think.
He might be able to avoid the... No, you can't avoid the soul talking to you. And he can't avoid his soul being torn into it. It's the plus on the save and the plus on the blocking telepathy.
Well, if there's a soul in there right now, I don't think his soul could get sucked into it then.
That's on your traditional ring of shield.
Yeah.
Of thought shield. This is not the case.
Right. So, yeah. You're... Ivoris, you're kind of white right now. Like, really pale. Like,
You
like
mean
me.
that there's and he points at the body next to him.
Yeah, his soul is... That
And-
person's soul is
and-
probably in
and
there
then
right
he
now.
points at the ring.
Oh boy, what a bad luck. You defile one corpse in your life, and that corpse's soul is now in your head. Better luck next time, buddy. He claps you on the back and goes like, hey, there are buttons over here. I think we need to push them.
Ivoris pulls out his rapier and he looks like he's about to cut his finger off.
You can if you want. Like, that's one way around it.
I have one important question. Which finger did you put it on?
Fuck. I don't know, the middle one. Who knows?
Sure. You're not attuned to it. If you want to cut it off, it's a thing. Go for it. I mean...
If Greff sees him like prepared to cut off his hand, he like puts his hand above his, like, no. Ivoris, calm down.
I mean, that's one way to do it.
Griff, that's a Yonti.
Yeah. And if I heard him correctly, you can block telepathic communications with this ring?
Right? I don't
Then-
think you can block the one that's trapped in there, though.
No.
Oh. Okay. Then I can
That
see the
being
problem.
said, I will put this out there. Looking at the corpse that you took it from, that particular Yonti doesn't look all creepy crawly and fucked up like a lot of them tend to be, from what I've heard.
What are the specific features of this Yonti?
Does it have a third arm? Does it have
Could you just put it in
pincers?
like form of like light mutations to heavy mutations?
Oh, very
no
light.
mutation?
Like, very,
light,
very
okay.
light.
I think the first question is, what is their original race?
This one...
Their original
This-
race is Yonti because they don't transform into Yonti. They're born as Yonti.
Oh, he's a
Yeah.
natural born. Oh, right.
pure blood.
Pure blood.
Mostly.
Yonti are just Yonti. I don't think you can be turned into a Yonti.
No,
You're
you
usually
can't.
killed. You're killed by them so that they can transform.
Except by true polymorph. That could
Yeah.
probably do it.
So this Yonti, they're kind of like human-ish. They have like I guess you would recognize some reptilian features. They have patches of scales all over their skin. Yeah. Oh my god. They don't have ears. What else can I give you? Their kind of like mouth area is kind of like really it's kind of protruded a little bit. A bit like a maw. But not. Yeah, that's basically the things that this particular pure blood has.
So light to mid, close to me.
Yes, fairly close to you. This is like way back into day, our ancestors used to be like 4 foot tall. Like this is like quite a throwback to your history. This is fairly close to some very obscure origins of your race. You think this may be as close to it as you can probably get. Yeah.
Okay. Ivoris kind of puts his rapier down and looks a bit frustrated.
Just don't do anything rash yet. We'll see if we can get it removed. And who knows, maybe the person in there is not so bad. I mean, you're not so far.
No, I should ask them things, right?
Not right now.
I should figure out who they were, what they were doing here.
That could potentially be useful. I mean, you do have to question.
It could be potentially bad that this place was dealing with Yonti.
Well, they were buried here, so I would assume maybe they're not such a bad person after all. I mean, Lathander is a good deity.
If my book was correct, the school goes back like thousands of years. So, like, if the book, like, over thousands of years, I'm sure you're not the only UNT to redeem himself.
Not to be shitty.
Yeah. So,
No, no.
Hey, maybe if we're lucky, he tells really good jokes.
No.
No? Nobody? Anybody?
Oh, the
Puns?
No, see, because the problem is, Greff, is then that Ivoris has to be the one that delivered the joke to us, and Ivoris doesn't do that whole.
Amazing.
My issue is that, yeah, I'm not the only one that is reasonable, but there's more than one in this one room. That's.
Oh, there was a human over there.
Does the other Yanti look like the same race at all, or is it a different?
That one's a little bit newer. It has a few more mutations on it, so it doesn't have the more so much. It kind of more has like a kind of like a proto shell on it, I guess.
So it has more mutations.
Yeah, it has more, but it's not like loads. It's just more. Having a proper look around, you guys can probably spot the not traditional Kino races, thousands of years old corpses. Human, you spot an elf, and you spot a dwarf.
I don't know if this Yanti is going to be reasonable, but I can tell you that these two, particularly that one, he points at the more transformed one, have had a rather rough history. So I might need to get this off rather quickly.
We'll figure something out. In the meantime, Greff, you were saying you found something?
Yeah, he like turns over the hilt. No, wait, it was on the gem. He turns over the gem like 221. Those things are buttons. Let's press things.
That's the thing I have on here too. And he holds up the symbol.
Oh, does your ring maybe say that too?
No.
He flips you off, showing you the ring.
One.
You know, actually, I'm liking this ring more and more. Okay, well, let's go try it out. Hang on. You know what, Greff, you do it. Go push the buttons. 2, 2, 1.
Right. Greff goes over to the thing, and he's gonna press the...
I'll be over here. Arawn's like all the way in the corner.
Greff's gonna push the 2, 2, and then over to the 1 shelf and press the 1.
As you click 2, you click 2 again, and then you kind of like shuffle over and like, let's give it a try. You hit 1. You guys hear a click. The far wall where the oldest corpses were begins to pull backwards, and you see that as it pulls backwards, it leads to a dark staircase going down.
Oh, this is getting more exciting.
Ooh.
Why can't we have more jobs like this? This is cool.
You guys should follow my ideas
we don't
more
get
often.
paid to bring in dead assembly.
Yeah, but look at this. Secret catacomb underneath the church.
Yeah, but like not a
with the
very
secret
great,
door.
Yeah, but like not a really great real estate, you know. Not a.
I don't give a shit about that.
It's nice.
Who's
for
going
visit.
first down this staircase?
Greff.
Thank you.
Arawn and Ivoris follow behind, bickering about how cool versus not cool this is.
How impractical it is to stay here.
Arawn's nerd is showing again.
His inner nerd is showing. As you guys make your way down into the dark staircase with a flickering torch, as you guys take probably about halfway down, you probably would reckon like you can see the bottom. The wall above you begins to slide back. I assume you keep going, or you're going to run back to save yourself.
The elevator's gone. This door can go to.
All right. Yeah. You guys make your way down there. As you guys make your way down, you come across a series of turnings, left, right, forwards. As you begin to look around, again, this is made from stone, the same stone as the temple is. There's quite a few of them. And as you kind of like look down the left and look down the right, some of them just seem to like dead end. Some of them seem to be turning away. It's a veritable maze down here. Do you guys want to keep exploring? Do you want to leave a trail? Do you just want to like, nah, I'm going home. Fuck this school thing.
I I leave a trail of gold, stacks of gold.
Let's not do that.
Here, I'll help us find our way back.
Well, hang on a second, because I've got some tools on me. So I'll take out like my smith's tools, like maybe a chisel and a hammer.
Okay.
And just as we're going, every time we like pass an intersection, like he'll just do like a quick little mark of like an X on the wall, so he knows where they came from.
Okay.
You just have like a bunch of nails or something. You could just like boop, hammer in.
Yeah, it's possible.
I'd rather not leave. I'd rather not. I only have 10 pittons though. That's the only thing.
Greff has a compass. He's gonna get it out and just get like a rough idea of how they were turning when they came in, and try to use that to help himself like orientate himself in his head.
Okay, I'll say that between the two measures that you guys take, you'll be able to find your way in and out of this fairly easily. You dead end a fair few times, but you do eventually make your way through this level. You hit the end of this this kind of like mazy type area. Sometimes the dead ends end in a room, and they look like there have been like tables and chairs there. People have been sleeping here, but it's a very, very old time away. You hit the end of this level, and it's marked by some torches up on the wall, but they haven't been lit, and they lead to another staircase down. You guys can continue on, and you will find very much the same thing for the next 3 or 4 levels. Some of the rooms they lead you into are huge. They have racks of cots and such like. Some of them are clearly like a place where you could smith, and you just keep going down, and it takes you about 4 or 5 hours before you come across something of real significance. As you guys go down, like maybe this is gonna be the last level you guys decide you want to do today. You're exhausted, you're tired, you don't really want to be continually dead ending on this really random place. You find yourself at the bottom of a staircase. You can hear the sounds of trickling water, of rushing water off to one side ahead of you. It's kind of damper down here now. You can feel that kind of moistness in the air, like you're near like a river or like contained within inside. You can see that ahead of you, the ground is covered in that kind of like mossy thing that you would get when there's water and sunlight. You see that on the cobbles before you. Are you guys going to do what now?
Greff is gonna get both of his swords out. And he kind of just turns around and says, they said that the fighting school used to be at the cliffs, and this was more of a secret entrance. It could be that we're finding where they really trained, where they really worked. However, I have no idea what is in there, if it's still defended, or if we're just about to walk into a moss-covered hole, an old gladiator pit. But I intend to go in there carefully. And then he proceeds.
Okay. Arawn will have his thunder cannon out just in case.
Okay. As Greff, you step foot on this flat area. Ahead of you, you see that there is a... Let me make sure I get this all right. Ahead of you, see that there is what looks like running water. And as you look up to the left, you can see that there is a waterfall 70 feet up. And it's covering, even from this angle, you can see that there is opening behind it. The water is flowing down. It's hit the thing, and there's a lot of spray coming up, but you can see where the water is flowing out. And as you look to your right-hand side, you can see that there is an opening in the cliff. This area is pretty large, pretty huge. The opening in the cliff, you can see that there is the night sky, and you can see the sea, and it's fairly calm. You can see a few ships out on the edge. It's a cloudless night. You find yourself at a waterfall inside a cliff. What do you want to do?
Greff's gonna just kind of walk in there, and he's got his eyes open. He's looking left and right, and every now and then he'll look up and down, like up. And he's making his way towards where the waterfall exits the room.
Making your way to the edge of the cliff, basically.
Yeah.
As you're kind of looking out, this room is huge. you could tell that you could definitely have a series of people practicing their fighting skills here without ever being in danger of falling out of the hole in the side of the cliff. As you get to the edge and look down, you can see that there are some very sharp, jagged rocks below you. You can see where the water is crashing against it, causing that kind of like bubbly surf. You don't see much else from here. Actually, take a perception check. This is going to be super difficult, and I'd like you to make it disadvantage, please.
Oh no, then I'm never gonna make it, but okay. Disadvantage, perception. I rolled a 14.
That's not bad.
No, that's way better than expert.
Yeah. You see a couple of ships out on the ocean, but that's about it, really.
Greff turns around, and you guys can see his blades kind of droop a little bit as he like takes a more like relaxed posture, and he just kind of goes like, "Is this really it?"
How high is the cavern?
About 70 feet.
Does it look like it was carved or natural?
About half and half, I'd say. Like it's, the base is the roof itself is clearly natural, but the edges have been like dug out and expanded to make the area bigger.
How far in does it go?
Big.
Further than we can see, essentially.
No, not really. It's a little bit. I don't know. Let's say it's the half a size of like a football stadium. I don't know how big they are. It's a fairly big space.
That's pretty good. Okay.
Yeah.
Any buildings or anything?
Nope. Just the waterfall and the river.
River is above us, right? It's coming down.
Yes. The river is not floating. So yes, there is the waterfall. As you enter this room, the waterfall is on the left-hand side.
Right.
It's dropping down, causing a load of like spray to come up, and then it's like flowing outwards towards the sea.
All right. Well,
I mean, it makes sense. This is a pretty big space.
maybe look around for a room.
I guess. And Greff puts his swords away. Arawn, I think I see a little cavern up there where the waterfall starts, where it comes into the room. Do you think you could fly up there and just check if there's anything there? I don't know. I'm getting kind of desperate here. I'll be very disappointed if all we got here is a soul that cursed Arawn. No, Ivoris.
Sure. Arawn's gonna go check it out once Greff points out where to go.
Take an investigation check.
15.
As you make your way towards the waterfall, yes, there is indeed an opening up above. There is a bit of a cavern. But as you get closer to the waterfall, you see the thing that I mentioned before. There is an opening behind the waterfall. Sort of more at ground-ish level. It's about 15 feet high. But it's an opening that's almost the entire width of the waterfall.
Okay. So then Arawn, as he's hovering there, is going to be like, hey, there's actually something here. It's behind the water.
You can just hear way off in the distance, oh, thank God.
Arawn's going to fly to the left of the waterfall, and he's going to take out some rope and hammer and pittons.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to just bang in some of the pittons and do some knots on the rope.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially make it so that they can climb up.
Okay.
And then he's going to use the rope as kind of a safety for himself, and he's going to corkscrew into the cave behind the water.
Okay.
He's going to back up and then corkscrew in.
Yeah, you wouldn't need the rope necessarily unless you want to make sure you don't get blown away by the water, because the entrance, the hidden area behind the waterfall, not above it, behind it, is at floor level. So you could jump through it or walk through the waterfall.
Oh, okay. I thought it was
No, it's not too high up. There is a cavern above it where the water is coming in, but there's an area behind the waterfall still.
At ground level. Okay.
Yes, at ground level. Okay, so you're just going to barrel through the waterfall?
Yeah, he's going to do a corkscrew in the air so that it doesn't knock him down.
Yeah, that's a smart plan. Because there is a dexterity check to get in here. You're welcome. You corkscrew your way into the waterfall. Behind it, what you see is a fairly large round-ish chamber. It's about let's say 100-foot diameter, 100-foot radius. It's a pretty big area behind here. It's fairly large. You can see against one wall there is essentially what is like a wooden I'm gonna call it what it is. It's basically a bar back here. There is barrels that have been placed into the wall, and they've come in and out fairly regularly. There are a couple of table chairs and around. There's a couple of lit candles and stuff. There is on as almost opposite where you come in, there is looks like an entrance and a set of stairs, which go quite far back and up. But there is a single person sitting at this bar. They're not even on the serving side of the bar, they're on the patron side of the bar, and you can see them just like reaching over and pulling out a bottle from behind the bar just as you corkscrew into this water and make noise as you come in. And there is an old elderly looking drow there. They are wearing very thin darker blue robes. They have a mohawk, but it's cut very, very, very short. They are covered in various scars and also covered in magical runes. They are just leaning against the bar as you come barreling through, and as they turn around, bottle in hand, having stolen it from behind the bar, they just turn and look at you and they just say, "Who the fuck are you?"
Oh, my name is Arawn. Who are you? And why are you down here? You're a little out of place for the rest of society.
You're a little out of place. Pours a drink. Puts the bottle down.
Well, yes, that's besides the point, though.
Takes the drink, knocks it back, puts it back on the bar. So do you want one or don't you?
If you're offering.
Barkeep's not been here a while. Sure none to notice.
Let me just wait for 1 second. My friends are a little bit slower than I am.
Oh, fuck my life. Man, just trying to get a simple drink. He just pours himself another drink.
Ron's gonna kind of just... He's just gonna grab his earpiece. Guys, there's someone here.
Ivoris jumps through the waterfall and then does that little shake thing.
Can you take a dexterity saving throw, please?
Uh-huh.
Just because you don't want the water to knock you on your ass.
It's a 16.
Yep, you're totally fine. Greff?
It's a 6.
You get knocked prone as you try to jump through this water. Can you roll a d6, please?
Jesus. You're asking for a lot of me. That's a 3.
That's a 3. You take 3 bludgeoning damage as you end up prone inside this room. Yeah, you guys are in the room. You can see this elderly-looking drow. He's got a, kind of like the white mohawky thing, dark blue robes. He turns and looks at you all. Fuck. Reaches over behind the bar, pulls out 3 shots, and lines them up, pours you all a drink.
Greff's getting up and like rubbing like blood off his forehead where he bunked into the floor, just like, "Oh yeah, bar, fuck yeah!" And he just strides into the room.
The man looks at you as you come like striding in. He's like, "Fuck me, bloody children." Pours another drink.
Sorry, who are you?
Who are you?
I'm Ivoris.
Greff,
to meet you.
Greff's grabbing one of the 3 shots he poured out and just like, "Greff, gonk."
The guy looks back at Arawn.
I told you I had friends.
How old are the lot of you? Are you even old enough to drink?
Is there a drinking age in Kino?
Should be. Place I come from, there's a bit of a drinking age, whatever. Children of the times. Pours himself another drink, tops Greff's up.
Mm-hmm.
For the record, technically I'm 25, but well, I don't look it anymore.
All right. We came here looking for a fighting school, and Greff starts like sipping on the thing he poured him.
Oh, that's a joke. It's a joke that hasn't been here for a very long time. But let me drink down here. Last pupil, years ago.
Oh, that's a good as reason as any to stay here, if I do say so myself.
What are you looking for the school for?
I want to become a greater fighter. I want to become the greatest fighter. But
After you just fell through the waterfall. I don't think so, mate.
What was that phrase my sister always told me? To get to the highest mountain, you have to stumble a lot at the foot.
He turns and looks at you as you kind of like speak a little bit longer. He kind of like gives you like a head tilt, like trying to like look you down and says, your accent. It's nothing I've recognised. I've been all around this place.
I'm from far away. Not native to these lands, really. As Greff keeps drinking.
He kind of like leans back. And he gives you a good stare and he looks at your companions. He looks at you. Said you're here for the school, huh?
Yeah. I learned all I could from the orcs before they kicked me out again. They're not very hospitable. I got what I needed. Though I wish I could have studied a little longer.
Surprised they took you in.
When you arrive, bloody and bruised, but still living, I think they kind of give you just a little bit of respect.
Begrudging respect.
Yeah.
Well, you made it all this way. Orcs took you in and you're not dead. You are, he gestures at you. What you are. I'll teach you.
I'm sorry?
Stands up, straightens his robes a bit, pulls out his left hand, like into the air. And you see a small hand axe appear as if from nowhere. It says, my name is Canton Shadowfist. I'm the last teacher of this here school. Pleasure to meet you. Hello everyone, it's Canton here. Nice to meet you all. And that Greff. And Ivoris. And the one that came barreling through the waterfall, that was impressive. Well, if you also want to be impressive, you could help donate to the patron of the Lucky Die, which is where I got this amazing name, Canton Shadowfist, from our good friend Rogue 2015. Thank you very much for that. If you want to get hold of us to talk to us for any reason, there's our email, theluckydiepodcast@gmail.com. That's a good way to get hold of us. We answer that pretty promptly. Or on the Twitters or through our website, all the usual means and methods. Do us a favour, shout us out to a buddy, to a friend, anyone. I don't want to drink in this bar alone. Well, I've got these three. Blimey.